Hi, I'm Becca. Welcome to Hinge Vintage Goods. We'll be talking about what sold this week.
Alright, we will go over the what sold items for eBay first. There's this antique Czech art glass vase. I found this at a thrift store for $3. Honestly, I thought that it was a little weird. I wasn't quite sure if it was worth anything, but I knew that I could sell it for more than $3, so I decided to go ahead and get it. A little research, and I found out that it was made by Kralik. Actually, I'm not even sure if that is a maker or a style. I messed up the title here. That should say splatter. But it sold very, very quickly. I listed it on the 3rd and it sold on the 7th. Next we have this Easter bunny set. I found this with its box. It's not new. It's obvious that the person who had it before must have displayed it, but it did have its box and all of its packaging, which made it much easier to ship. The little bunnies swing, and it was in really good condition. I did pick it up a little while ago, but I knew that it would sell before Easter, and it did. I got it for $6 in December at a thrift store, and it sold for $30. Next we have this vintage set of newspapers. I was at an estate sale on its last day, and there was a large box that had a bunch of vintage greeting cards, maps, papers, pictures. It's not something I usually pick up, but I have had luck with selling vintage greeting cards and groupings, so I decided to ask them how much they wanted for it. There wasn't a price on it. They sold me the whole box for $1, and I've been going through it slowly. This I originally listed for $15. They are very specific cities, and nothing like super noteworthy, mostly just interesting. The person who sent me an offer said that she is using the information for research for a play that she's writing, which I thought was very interesting. It sold relatively quickly. I had it for about a month. And our last one for eBay is this puzzle. I got it just because it was so interesting to look at. It was fun to put together. My sister came over and did it with me in about 3 hours. I don't usually pick up jigsaw puzzles just because they take time to show that you have all the pieces. I got this one for $2 back in October, so it did sit for a little bit, but it did sell for my full asking price. Alright, next we will do our Etsy sales. I picked up this print for $2 at a local thrift store about a month ago. It sold with its kind of matching pair. So it was $60 for the set. The person buying it said that she was going to hang them in her jungle-themed bathroom, which is fun. Next we have these new old stock Hawaiian coasters. They were pretty neat. They're wood on the bottom and then cork centers with these cool graphics. I picked them up only about a week before they sold. They sold for $15. Next are these great drip glaze mugs. They are a pair. I picked them up for $1 a piece at a local thrift store, and I've had them a few months. That's kind of the way it goes with mugs, but they're relatively easy to store and ship, so I don't mind holding on to them. They sold for $20. Next we have this pair of bookends. I do really well with bookends, especially if I get them at a great price and price them competitively. These are a little different than what I usually pick up, so I priced them a little bit lower, but they sold in a couple of months for $20. Next is this set of 3 hand-blown mushrooms. They were signed on the bottom, and they're just really cool. It's hard to photograph clear glass though, so they did sit for a little bit. I think just because of the photography, it's just hard to capture what they look like, but they sold for $30. Next is this owl statue. It's hand-carved rock, very neat. It would look great on a bookshelf, especially for somebody who loves, like Harry Potter or other similar books. I got it for $3 at a local thrift store and sold it for $22. Next are a couple of playing cards. I find these really cool vintage playing cards pretty consistently at estate sales, and they're always missing cards, but I just don't have the heart to leave them behind and let them get thrown out. So I've been picking them up and selling them as swap cards or journal art cards, or maybe somebody's buying it and filling out their deck that has missing pieces. That would make me happy too. I sold this one. I don't make a huge profit on them, $1.25 a piece plus $1 shipping, but they are just very neat. Also sold one of the clown ones and 2 of these lion ones. A few more Etsy items. Etsy did very well this week. Sold this brass cat coin bank or piggy bank. I picked it up for $1. It was half price at my local thrift store, and it sat for about 2 months but sold for $16. Next we have this footed brass planter. I pick these up always if I can get them for a good deal, especially if they have feet and any kind of detailing. This one I got for, I believe, $3.50, and I had it for maybe about a month. It sold pretty quickly for $22. This basket surprised me. I got a large box of baskets from an estate sale for $5. I think it worked out to being about 20 cents per basket. This was one of the ones that I was like, I'll just list it and see what happens. And it sold relatively quickly for $18. Next is this mid-century style seagull ring dish. I don't know if it is actually mid-century or just made to look mid-century, but I Loved the lines on it, and I love that it had a marble base. Don't see that too often. Usually they're attached to a ceramic dish. I got it for $1 and it sold for $15. This is another basket from that box from the estate sale. I liked the geometric designs on it. It sold for $15. These are some metal enamel, either tea bag holders or butter pats. They just had a really interesting shape, cool hand-painted design. You can tell it's hand-painted because they aren't all exactly the same. Very fun. This did sit in my store for probably about 5 months, but they sold for $20. I think I paid $2 for the whole set, and they were very easy to ship. This vintage book is from the 40s, 1941. I got this at a online auction where I picked up the items locally, and there was a whole box of vintage children's books. I got the whole box for $10. There were, I believe, 12 books in the box, and this sold almost the day I listed it, and I think the next morning, for $16. Alright, this brooch sold for $12. It did sit for a little bit. I was surprised it did not go before Christmas. I did have it listed before Christmas. I enjoy picking up brooches because they're so easy to store and ship. Alright, this hand-painted tray picked up about a month ago at a thrift store. It was $4, I believe. It was just in such perfect condition that I had to get it. It sold for $20. I almost always pick up trays if they're in good condition. And then finally this goblet. I'm not sure it's particularly old, but it is definitely handmade. It has this great design in the glaze, the mountains, nighttime scene, crescent moon. There are lots of great keywords for it. It sold in just a few days for $22, and I paid $1.50.